Welcome, everyone. I'm going to do a quick intro, although our two guests today, I'm smiling ear to ear. I could not be more excited. Our residents, our audience, today's a great day. Today's a great day. I feel like we need to change the name of the show from influencers to icons. Today, I'm thrilled to have, first of all, Marilyn Mathers, the president of the Motion Picture Mothers, affectionately known as the Moms. This is an 82-year-old organization who has contributed, even today, Marilyn, and I'll talk to you about this, we're getting donations even today. You all have contributed over $1 million to MPTF, among so many other things. And we also get to welcome your son, Jerry Mathers, affectionately known as Theodore Cleaver, the Beaver. My whole family is so excited. I'm so thrilled to be here. You have fans across the world. What a blessing to be part of the Motion Picture and Television Fund. To have you both here, and Lexi, who maybe will make a guest appearance, but I want to welcome you both. So thank you. Hi, Marilyn. Hi, Jerry. How are you?
Hi. We're doing good.
I love that we've brought the colors. We're almost like a Jamaican flag today with all our colors. We're doing good, right? Thank you so much, both of you, for being here today. Marilyn, I want to start with you. And last week we had Jenna Elfman and Sue Butala, and just right, I feel like we're continuing on with the moms. Again, just the affectionate name for Motion Picture Mothers. You all should know this name. And tell me about it. You are the president of this incredible affinity group for us. Again, just tell us what it's about and why you got involved with this group, please.
Yes, the Motion Picture Mothers has been going for years. And like, I don't know, in the 1930s it started. And it started with Robert Taylor's mother, and Gary Cooper's mother was a big member, and Joan Crawford's mother, and Lucille Ball's mother was a really good member. And so we've been going, and they started out just trying to help people that came here as actresses, you know, from New York and stuff, and they didn't have the clothes to go on interviews and things, and so they started giving their daughters and their sons clothes to them. And then even started trying to help feed them, and, you know, sometimes they'd be hungry. Like in those days, they used to say they lived on peanut butter sandwiches when they were having hard times. And so, and then they eventually started the organization, and we got connected with the Motion Picture Hospital and Country Home. And we've been so happy to be with them because they do so much good. And I grew up in Hollywood, and I always had friends whose parents worked in the industry. And I know that I always knew that I knew about the Motion Picture Home and Country and Hospital. It wasn't a hospital in the early years; it was just a home. But I knew how much good they did for people when they were in trouble in the industry. And so when I got into the Motion Picture Mothers, and I got in through two of my good friends whose children were actresses, and that was Phyllis Quinn and Ruth Sides. And they got me in, and after I became a member, I found out that what they did was support the Motion Picture Home and Hospital, and I was so happy because I knew that was a really good thing to do for me. And so I think I've told you about what I can tell you, right? I'm not.
That's great. No, believe me, I have so many questions. We're not even going to get to it for both of you. By the way, I love that you said, you know, how people subsisted on peanut butter. 2020, I'm sure a lot of people did the same thing. You know, a lot of people were put out of work, and it was a trying time, right, Jerry? I know it's been
absolutely.
It's been very hard for so many, and I always think back to Mary Pickford and why she started this. You know, just putting a coin in the box if you needed clothes for an interview, if you needed a toupee to look younger, whatever it was very important. That mission, we're 100 years this year, by the way. We're 100 years, right? So we want to not exist, but we're so grateful to exist to help people that really need it. And what a blessing to have you involved. So yeah, Marilyn, you told us about how you learned about this, which is so wonderful. And tell us a little bit about that. I told everyone you all have raised $1 million plus for the Motion Picture and Television
I
Fund.
think I've been told it's $3 million.
It's unbelievable. Sorry I got that stat wrong. That is fantastic. Marilyn, tell us quickly, not quickly, and we'll go to Jerry next, but because we have 30 minutes and we'll have you back, what kind of things do you all do as the moms to raise money for us? What are some of the means that you do?
Well, what we do mostly, we meet once a month, and and we always try to raise money. We raise smaller amounts doing things, but our big event has always been in December, which we couldn't have this year, and
Right.
it's at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, and we have some of our children always are willing to come and they give us entertainment and things, and we have a big luncheon there, and I want to talk about Bob Beecher because he's been so supportive of us. He helps.
Please
us so
do.
much.
He's why I think we're all here. So please do.
With the home and the hospital, and taking you through the fires, and then this coronavirus.
Yep.
Marilyn, you
Marilyn.
speak it into existence. Look who joined us.
Be careful what you say. Be
Yeah.
careful.
We knew you were coming.
Oh, is that Bob?
There's Bob,
I'm sorry, but my
who's been
eyesight's
living
going
on our campus. And Marilyn, I have to say before Bob speaks, I was supposed to have my first day, and then the fires hit a couple years ago. And this man, our CEO and president, and my boss and mentor, and hopefully dear friend, I would think he would agree with that, told me, look, what we're doing is we're evacuating everyone. He's been living on this campus basically since the pandemic and what they did for the fires. So feel free to talk to your guy right now.
It's great seeing the two of you.
Well, nice seeing you again.
Yeah, I know. Been a long time now, right? COVID.
Yes. Missed our lunch this year. We had a great one the year before.
Yes.
Thank
The other
you.
one's coming.
Yes. Thank you to you and all I call them the Mo Pick moms. Yeah. For your generosity and for your hard work and for your effort and for caring about us. We need more people to just care about us.
Yep.
Yep. Everyone does.
You got it from us.
Yeah. Jerry, good seeing
Got your
you.
back.
Thank you, sir. Good seeing you. I don't want to interrupt Courtney's show, so.
That's all right. We're happy to have Bob interrupt anytime. And thanks, Bob, for joining us and providing all your support. So, Jerry, I feel we got to get to you. I mean, come on. We're all so excited to have you on. I know your mom is very proud, and she played a big role in your career and getting you to this part, because you started very early. Was this your choice to be a child actor? Did mom have something to do with this? Tell us a little bit how you even got into this field.
Well, I always liked doing it, but no, at 2 years old, you don't really make that choice, but it's
Sure.
something I really love, and I'm very grateful all the basically bumps in life I've got to be where I am today. And my mom is the one that was pushing me along through those bumps to take me to interviews. We'd go to interviews sometimes where they had, like 100 kids for one little job. And every once in a while I'd get one. And we sat out there in those, in those rooms with a lot of these kids. And you'd go in and they'd say, oh no, your hair is brown. We want a blonde. Bye. And you'd waited 3 hours to have them say that to you. So it was, and then one day I went for the one for Leave It to Beaver, and everything changed. But I had worked quite a bit. I'd worked with Bob Hope on movies, Eva Marie Saint. I'd done a lot of live TV, Lux Video Theater. So Alfred Hitchcock. So there was a lot of things I did before Leave It to Beaver.
Right.
But, of course, everybody knows me because it's never been off the air since 1957 and plays in 57 languages around the world. So people come up to me from, say, Japan, and they start talking and it's dubbed, so they don't realize that I don't speak Japanese with a little girl's voice very well.
Very well. I know. And you just mentioned a couple of people very near and dear to us, Eva Marie Saint. And I read something about you recently about Hitchcock recognizing you, which I think is, I mean, you are an icon in yourself and what you've been a part of. But let's talk about Leave It to Beaver. You've been a part of this institution of Americana and something so near and dear that gives us positive energy. And there was a reunion and a resurgence, and your fans are fantastic. What was it like when you first started out, and just what does it mean to you today to be a part of this history of our entertainment industry?
Well, I started actually on live TV when I was 2 years old doing commercials for Pet Milk with Ed Wynn. So I
2 years old, Jerry. I mean, how at 2 years old are you taking direction? What was that like? Marilyn, you might want to talk to that.
My mom says I was 2.5.
Okay. Oh,
I was old. I wasn't just 2.
Let me give you the 6 months. Okay, sure. Yeah. I have a 3.5-year-old. I don't know how she would do it. So please.
I was just very good at taking directions from people, and it was very easy. They'd give me a bottle and I'd drink it, and it was Pet Milk, and they'd say, look, he really likes it. And I did. So it wasn't really hard work.
Sure.
The interview for Leave It to Beaver was a little bit of work because there were about 2,000, maybe a few more kids for the interview, but it wasn't just for the beaver, but they kept bringing people back, and it was all the other characters, Eddie, Lumpy, Wally. So there were a lot of kids, and we were looking around going, what kind of an interview is this? Why are there so many different kinds of kids? And of course, later we learned that they didn't say that in the beginning. You just walked in and they'd say, okay, you can go home, you stay. And luckily, I was the last one that they said, you stay for.
When did you realize, and again, you were so young, and maybe Marilyn has to answer this, but when did you realize when you were in it and you got the role that this was something really special?
I had worked I'd worked in movies and never another series, but a lot of movies and things. So it was just very regular for me. It was like probably you going to school, elementary school. It wasn't anything that was different or odd. It was fun. I had a great time doing it. And so it was and every time they'd say, okay, we're going to do a new season, I'd go, great, because they'd bring back the same crew. We had a wonderful time. They picked all people for the crew that had family. It had to be a family man to be on our crew. So everyone was really nice. They were all my best friends. I got to do things no other kid can do. I'd run around the back lot of Universal. It was just an awful lot of fun. Probably one of the best childhood any kid could have.
Fish in the pond?
I'd fish in the Friends Lake out there. When people take the tour at Universal Studios, there's this big lake for mosquito abatement in the back lot. And for mosquito abatement, they put fish in it. And when I was finished with them, they'd have to put more fish.
I was just going to say, maybe now you have to think of something else. Like, tell it. Marilyn is like so on it. I love it. I was going to say, tell us a story. Tell us. I know all of our residents, our audience would love to hear something about an anecdote of being on that show, some special story before we get to later in life. Like, tell us some special moment. I'm sure there are so many.
I would like to tell this story because
please, Marilyn.
I talked about it to Jerry. He didn't remember it real well, but Conley and Mosier wanted Jimmy Gleason, who was a great character actor in those years, for a part in one of the episodes. And Jimmy Gleason was living at the home, and the home brought him there, and they got him and brought him and took care of him and saw that he got onto the right stage because he's pretty old. And it was the last thing he ever did. I think he died within the year after that. And he was so happy working because he hadn't worked for quite a while. And it was just so nice. And at the end of the day, he came up to me and he said, your little boy is really good. He said, I couldn't remember the lines. And he was feeding me the lines, and he was doing it so well that nobody knew he was doing it. Said,
I'm very sneaky.
He said, most kids let everybody know they're feeding you the lines. He said, but your kid did, he was really good. And it just made my heart so happy. And then another thing I want to talk about the home is that at one time, why I love the home so much and want to support it. At one time, I had a neighbor. I think this would have been in the 60s, 70s, and her name was Kathy Brown Lyle. And her father was Joey Brown, the great comedian of the 20s, 30s, 40s, you know.
Yes.
And he was in the home at the time I was her neighbor, and we were pretty good friends. And she would always tell me how great the home was, you know. So that's
Isn't it
what
amazing how it all comes full circle and how, yes, we're all part of this safety net of taking care of each other. I think every industry could learn so much from you two and what this organization does. Jerry, I would imagine you get recognized every single day. You've got great fans. Like, what's it like nowadays? I know you've worked every year since. I know you're doing a lot more, but we all love, love, love what you've brought to our homes and our hearts. What's it like still today to be recognized for this child character that people love so much? And do you still love it?
I still love it. I think the funniest thing that happens to me is it plays in about 50 languages all over the world. So I'll be someplace like
Love
an
that.
airport, and
Yeah.
someone will come up to me and start speaking Japanese or Chinese or German or French, and I kind of look at them and go, and they, I've seen you on TV speak it. Why can't you speak it now? I mean, they know it's
Sure.
dubbed, but
Sure.
they just expect
I
it.
don't think
That's me.
Exactly, like Tagalog in these languages, as you get even lesser known than the main ones you've said, and they're quoting you and probably wishing to have that right back, and you're like, so how do
Very
you react? You just kind of hug and thank
well, you give them
you.
an autograph, and that they say, "Oh yeah, oh thank you," you know, whatever, in different languages. So, but it's just really phenomenal that a show made in 1957 can still play all over the world. And a lot of
Yeah.
places, it's their first really introduction because some of the places didn't even have TVs, and we
Hmm.
started in '57. It's their introduction to an American family. They had heard things about America, but this was a little boy growing up in America.
And a precocious, wonderful little boy that was for them to see. So many people got an insight into Americana through you. Are you still close with the cast that's around, and do you have a good relationship?
We have great relationships, but
Yeah.
it's like anything. It's like people you maybe went to high school or even
Sure.
elementary school with. And
Sure.
LA's so big that we all live far away, and we're always happy to see each other, but we don't get that many chances really because we're all doing different things and live, as I say, quite a distance from one another.
So tell me about that. What kind of different things, not to sum up your career since then in 20 seconds. That's a lot. You've been doing a lot.
I might need
You're
25.
Yeah, still exactly. In your couple years since, what are you doing now?
Well, right now, I do a lot of autograph shows. I do a lot of personal appearances. Um, I was known so much as the Beaver, and then in the later on, we did in the '70s and '80s the new Leave It to Beaver. So I played the father in that one, but I'm pretty much typecast. So people call me up and say, "Do you want to do this or that?" But a lot of times they're just looking for me to do a variant of Leave It to Beaver, and that's not that much fun. And they want to make it kind of they think it's whatever, but it's actually kind of silly. So I just tell them no
Sure.
thanks. And I've had a wonderful life, and I was lucky enough after I quit Leave It to Beaver and went to college. I'm a graduate of Berkeley. I was a banker, so I learned a
UC
little bit about
Berkeley?
UC Berkeley. I was a philosophy major.
Love
Uh,
it.
and then I went on to become a banker. And so I worked for many years with money and investing. So, I managed to set myself up. And luckily, unlike a few of the other people I feel very sorry for, I was very
Hmm.
well set up after I finished Leave It to Beaver. And then in the '70s, we did the new Leave It to Beaver for
Hmm.
45 years. So that was another, a great way to bring the show back and have the chance to play the Ward or Hugh Beaumont part, with my own, not my own kids, but my own kids that were actors from the show.
Sure. Oh my gosh, there's so much to unpack here, and I'm a UC kid myself, and I love to hear that. And I look at Marilyn because there's no way. Well, I know you're wonderful, but I know Marilyn played a big role in making you realize, like you said, you feel sorry for some of the people that maybe didn't secure themselves the way that you have. And I know your mom played a big role in that, which it's
Absolutely.
just,
I mean,
yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten to any of the interviews when I was 2 till whenever, if my, and until I was, I think it was 18 or 21.
No,
You had
no, you didn't. 18, but
18.
you would
You
have
you had to have
like
somebody
15.
on the set with you. So, it was just something that
Yeah.
the family gave up. My mom being home with my brothers and sisters a little bit, but we had a lot of things that were fun, and it was only for a few years, and it's been a boom to my whole life.
Fantastic. I'm gonna get to the like beauty and aging process for both of you, because I mean this is a total compliment to you, Jerry, but really more to Marilyn. You look like brother and sister. I don't know how you stay so young and youthful and vibrant. So I'd love to know the secrets offline. But we had some people ask, Jerry, who's an actor that you've been really grateful to work with? You've had such an extensive career. Is there, and maybe there's a couple, but who's an actor or actress
Well,
you've been
actually,
really?
it wouldn't be an actor. Probably one of the most fun ones was Alfred Hitchcock.
Please unpack that for us. That's
Well, I
fantastic.
worked
Tell us.
with Alfred Hitchcock. It was Shirley MacLaine's first movie,
Mhm.
John Forsythe's first movie. I'd done
Mhm.
several movies before that.
I don't think it was John Forsythe's first, but
Well,
it was close.
close. So, and he would, like, everyone I knew at the time had warned me, and not warned me, but they said, he's very hard to work with, but just, so I went into the first day and he said hi, and I went in the interview and I came back, and then we went out to Stowe, Vermont for about, what, 10 weeks?
No, not that. Probably 4 or 5.
5 weeks.
Yeah.
Because we were filming in Vermont. And
Yeah.
I'd go sit on his lap and he'd run lines with me. And I'm thinking, why are these people afraid of this man? He's so nice.
But you always called him Mr. Hitchcock.
Yeah,
I made you.
But he also always called me Mr. Mathers. In fact, he was the first person. So it was just,
So let's all take a note of manners. I love this, like manners, which, at times is a lost art form nowadays, and we could all get back to that. But sorry, that's hard to realize that you sat on Mr. Hitchcock's lap and ran lines. That is fairly iconic and wonderful to hear about.
you can't have a better acting coach.
Jerry, it's not normal. That is fantastic. How wonderful is that? So, we've talked about, my goodness, we can just talk about so much more. Marilyn, and I want to go back to you. The moms have been around and again, just for anyone, tuning in, it's Motion Picture Mothers, which, Irene Exter, we love her. We love Sue.
It's great.
We love everyone a part of this. I can't wait to, first of all, meet you both in person and give you a safe hug. But this has been a group that's been around for 82 years. The organization is 100 years old. Why is that special to you both? And I'll start with you, Marilyn.
What did you say?
Well, she wants you to tell you about the Motion Picture Mothers.
Yeah, but just Marilyn, us being 100 years old, you're a part of something
Right. Okay.
that has spanned a century. Why?
Trouble hearing,
That's okay. That's okay.
Well, the Mothers has just always been a great organization. We meet once a month, which we haven't done for over a year now, and we all miss each other so much.
Mhm.
Well, one little thing I want to tell you is that we have 2 of our mothers who are now of happy memory, but their sons are up for Academy Awards, and that's Gary Oldman's mother and Anthony Hopkins' mother. And so we'll be there, very proud of those boys because their mothers were so wonderful. I knew Kay Oldman really well, and she was just a wonderful, wonderful woman and so much fun. She would tell a joke every month in the meeting. She'd come in with a new joke. And
do you remember any of those jokes?
Really nice mothers, that we all get along, and we did meet at the Sportsman's Lodge, but then that closed and didn't have a facility that we could meet. So now we meet at a smaller place. It's called Robin Hood's. It's an English pub. It's a lot of fun. They have a nice room for us, and that's where we've been meeting the last year or so. And we mostly, our focus is to raise money, which we do. We have drawings all the time, and we have great auctions because and drawings with they're not really auctions, they're drawings, and then we have prizes from our children and other people, and we get some good things that way that people want, and then they bid on them and whatever, and then we raise money that way. But our big one has always been our December event.
Well, when I started here, Marilyn, I was told about the history of this organization, beyond what I already knew. The first thing I was told about was the group that you lead and how wonderful. I hope you all know how grateful we are to both of you, and Marilyn, what you have done to continue the legacy of the moms. We could not be more grateful. We want this to continue on for a long time. Everyone will be rooting for, as you just said, Gary Oldman, Anthony Hopkins, and what about this? Are you so proud? MPTF, you were a part of this, is receiving the Hirschholt Humanitarian Oscar this year.
Yeah.
MPTF is getting an Oscar. This is indirectly your Oscar as well. So congratulations for being a part of that.
Very much well deserved.
Yes, very well deserved.
It is very, very special. Okay, so this will be fun, Jerry. What are you watching nowadays? What's a show or a movie that you have just loved to watch? Like, what are you watching?
Gee, you missed my category. The category I watch is the news.
Oh.
I'm a news junkie.
Yeah. That's a good category too. We're all watching the news, but when you have to escape, yeah.
That's what I do. As I say, I do watch some television. That there's nothing I'm really not addicted, but for the most part, I watch the news.
Okay, but I know there's a show or a film that is near and dear to your heart. Maybe it's recent or earlier on in life. What's something that's your favorite, though? What's a favorite show? Jerry, you're so perfect. Okay, this is great. You've got the answers down.
I have answers for everything. Just ask anybody that knows me.
I love it. All right, so here, you can't say it's Beaver as your favorite film. What's your favorite film, Jerry? What's the film, if you see it on, you're going to just stop the news and watch the film?
Trouble with Harry when I worked with Hitchcock.
I love how
Shirley MacLaine's first movie, John Forsythe's first movie. I'd done several before that.
Fantastic.
And Edmund Gwenn, don't forget
Edmund
him.
Gwenn.
Edmund Gwenn ended his life at the Hope.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
He was a great Englishman.
So when was the last time, Jerry, when was the last time you were on campus?
Oh, it's been a while now. I'll have to get back out there, but it's been a while.
Well, we can't wait to have you both back on campus and get everyone vaccinated and everyone healthy. I've been going back to campus, and my goodness, is it a blessing to be around everybody. So I knew this was going to a lot of really, really wonderful people. I think we can collectively go back to Bob Beecher and say thank you for what he's done and to keep this legacy going. I knew this was going to go quickly. It's 1 o'clock. Harry Northrup, our resident, is going to do his poetry hour. I'd love to have you back, and I can't wait to meet you in person. Thank you both so much for just the light and energy you provided us today through the virtual screen. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you.
We love you all so much.
We love you too. Thank you for all the good work you do for all the actors.
Yes, and for all the people that work at the Motion Picture Home, and Bob, who runs it all.
Absolutely. So tune into the Oscars so we can hopefully see one of our moms, sons win an award and watch MPTF be put up in that spotlight. And we'll see you soon, okay?
Sounds good. We'll be counting on you.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.